Hello everyone, welcome to Steph's Garage Jewelry. Today we have another fun project here. This is the Aviva Earrings, and it's similar bezel to our ring that we did. The only difference is the ring was a basic bezel, and here we just have a little bit more embellishment, and it really shines through, and it just makes it a lovely set of earrings. Now, if you want, you could follow the tutorial for the ring. If you want to convert this bezel to the ring, the only difference is you would just follow the section where you would add the band and ignore where you would add the ear wire. And vice versa. If you want to make the bezel that we did for the ring into earrings, would work perfectly as well. So today, what we're going to do is we'll be making these earrings. We're going to start off with making the basic bezel first to start off with. And then we'll be adding the additional embellishments for this earring. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I will do my best to try to answer any questions. And I just want to give another shout out to everybody. I really greatly appreciate the support. It really has helped. Again, I'm just going to remind everybody, I'll be shameless about this, but it does help. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also hit the like button. Let me know what you think of these videos. It's been a learning experience, and I'm working on always trying to improve. So let me know what you think of this new format. And again, this is about I'm working with old equipment, and I don't get paid for this, but I am doing my best to try to improve. So I hope you guys can see the improvements I've made, and will continue to always strive for. It's a learning experience, but I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot of new stuff. All right, so let's get started, and let's just have some fun. Yeah. All right, so what we're gonna start off with, if you look at the earrings, is that we'll start off going around here. We want to create this rectangular shape, and we're gonna be using the right angle weave. Okay, now a lot of our other bezels we've done the peyote stitch, but you can use almost any stitch to create a bezel. This just happens to be a right angle weave one. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to create two things of right angle weaves to capture the stone. So we got one side here, and then this part where right in this section here, this is another right angle weave that we use to capture the stone. All right. So our bezel will require a lot of thread. So you're going to want to have two full wingspans. That's from one tip of your arm to the opposite tip of your arm. All right. And put your stop bead halfway through, because we'll use our tail for one side and the others for the other half. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started with our first unit. Now, right angle weave, we've done quite a few times in our videos, but for those who are new and may not be familiar with right angle weave, basic concept of right angle weave is that you're creating a stitch from one unit to the next unit using circular motions. Okay, and it can be one that has four sides, or it could have three sides like a triangle. You can probably do it also in an octagon. So you can, as long as it has three or more sides, you can create a right angle weave. The right angle weaves we're going to be using are all going to have four sides. So oftentimes in the video, you'll hear me refer to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Basically, I'm referring to just a face of a clock. in the direction where the beads are supposed to be sitting. And that just helps me to kind of convey where I'm coming in and out of. They're basically arbitrary. It just is dependent on how I'm holding the piece. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start off with using 11 Delicas. And those will be our main units for the majority of our right angle weaves. To create our corners, we'll be using some additional beads, but when we get to a corner, I'll call that out. But otherwise, we'll be using 11 Delicas. And you can do this in one color, or if you want, you could do it in 2 colors. And I'm going to be doing it in 2 colors. So our main color, I put on one 11 Delica. Then I put 2 of our accent colors, one 11 Delica main color, and then 2 11 Delicas our accent color. Then I'm just going to go ahead and create a loop. And what I'm going to do, there we go, let me just kind of go like this so you guys can see. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through all those beads a second time. And I will go through that first bead that I put on a third time, because you want to always be coming in and out of that bead that section where you started. There we go. And that will be the silver bead. And it just completes the unit. And at the same time, we're doing our reinforcement. So each bead will have a thread path that's gone through a second time. So here's our first unit. So I'm thinking of this as my 12 unit the way I'm holding it. Then these 2 over here are my 3 o'clock. This one here is my 6 o'clock. And then over here is my 9 o'clock. So what I'm going to do to put on the second unit is I'm just going to scoot over to 3 o'clock, just like that. There we go. And then I'm going to put on a second unit because I already have, for the second unit, the 3 o'clock of the previous unit becomes my 9 o'clock. So, and now I'm going counterclockwise. So before I was going clockwise, now I'm going counterclockwise. So I'm going to pick up, I'm going to think about the direction I'm going, and that will tell me which beads I need. So here, I'm coming out of 9 o'clock for my second unit. I'm missing 6 o'clock, I'm missing 3 o'clock, and I'm missing 12 o'clock, and I'm going in this direction. So I'm going to pick up 6 o'clock, then I'm going to pick up 3 o'clock, which is 6 o'clock is going to be my main color, 1 11 Delica, and then 3 o'clock is going to be 2 of my accent colors, and then 12 o'clock is going to be my main color. There we go. In this particular case, because of the way I'm holding my units. And then once I have that on there, I just go through each side at a time for reinforcement. And once I'm done reinforcing, and that means every side has at least 2 thread paths going through it, I'm going to maneuver my way following the same thread path to 3 o'clock. There we go. Alright, so now I have 2 units on, but I still need to maneuver to 3 o'clock to put on that 3rd unit. There we go. So now I'm ready for my third unit. And now I'm going clockwise. And so I'll need one of my 12 o'clock, which is my main color. And I'll need two for 3 o'clock, which is my accent color. And then I'll need 6 o'clock, which is one of my main colors. So I picked up one main color, 2 accent colors, 1 main color. I'm going to go through on the opposite side of that 9 o'clock. Here we go. Just like this. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and reinforce everything. And I kind of like to hold my beads in thread like this because it helps it from raveling and creating knots. There, just kind of, it creates a little guide for your thread, your fingers do. Alright, and it's all about what feels comfortable. And right now, I usually hold, when I do my beadwork, I hold it close. But right now, for this video, I have to hold it out far away from me, so it feels unnatural, but we're making it work, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a corner. And the way we're going to create a corner is on the inside where 6 o'clock is, we're going to have a bead that will be smaller. And then at 12 o'clock on the outside, we're going to have a bicone, which is bigger than our beads. Now, another way to create this is by using less beads on the inside and more beads on the outside. And if you want to create a gentle curve versus a corner, one way to do that is to do it on a more continuous basis over a period of time. And you can do that by creating scallops and everything else. So it's one way to kind of create dimensions when beading. All right, so I'm going to pick up 11 Demi, and then I'm going to pick up 2 of my accent colors, 11 Delicas, and then I'm picking up 1 bicone. And then I'm going to go through over here my 9 o'clock for this right angle weave. So this is a right angle weave still. The only difference is I'm using different size beads to create a dimension, a corner. And then I'm going through and reinforcing everything. There we go. And one of the reasons why I'm using a Demi versus a 15-0 is that a Demi, you'll have a little bit more of thread path room, and the inner hole will be a little larger. So it's a little cheap. Well, it's not cheap because it's legit, but it's just another way of being able to do this. All right, so I've reinforced everything, but I need to be at 3 o'clock for my next unit. So we are creating a rectangle, which means on one side we'll have, in this particular case, we're going to have 3 units, but going down we're going to have 5 units. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our second side. So here's our first side, here's our corner, and then now we're starting our second side. And I'm going clockwise, so I'm picking up 1 of my main color, 2 of my accent colors, and 1 of my main color. And those are all 11 Delicas. So just like that. And just like that. Then go ahead, what you want to do is reinforce that and then do 4 additional units. Meet me back here. We'll do the corner together and go from there. All right, Looking nice, everybody. You're doing a great job. And don't forget to hit that like button. Alright, so I have 3 units here, a corner, then 5 units here. Now I'm ready to go ahead and do my second corner, and I'm going counterclockwise. So my inside is here. So I'm going to pick up 111.0 Demi, and then I'm going to pick up 2 accent colors of my 11.0 Delicas, and then 1 of my 3mm bicones. I'm going to go through the opposite side here, just like that. There we go. And then I just go ahead and reinforce. Go. All right, so once I'm done reinforcing, there we go. I make sure I'm coming out of 3 o'clock, just like that. Now I'm ready to do my third side. So my third side is going to be like my first side. It's going to be 3 units. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going counterclockwise. So I'm going to pick up 1 of my main colors, 2 of my accent colors, and 1 of my main colors. And those are all 11.0 Delicas. Slide those down my thread. And then I'm just going to go through, which will now be 9 o'clock for this current unit, just like that. And then go ahead and reinforce your piece, and then do 2 more units. Now remember, when you're done reinforcing, to move on to the next unit, you should always be coming out of 3 o'clock of that current unit. So, whoops. So I finished reinforcing. Now I'm just going to make sure I'm coming out of 3 o'clock, just like that. Alright, so go ahead and do 2 more units. Meet me back here, and we'll go ahead and do the third corner together and go from there. Alright, so we are coming out of 3 o'clock of our previous unit, which will now become our 9 o'clock of the current unit we're adding, which will be a corner. So this will be the inside, which means I'm picking up 11.0 Demi. Then I pick up 2 of my accent colors, which are 11.0 Delicas, and then I picking up my 3mm bicone. I can't speak. And then I'm just going to go back through 9 o'clock of this unit, 3 o'clock of the previous unit, just like this. Reinforce. There we go. Again, I like to, when I reinforce, I try to do 1 side at a time. I know working with those little demis, it feels weird, but it does help with the shape, you know, but not the end of the world if you end up doing a little bit more, but it does help with the shape. At least that's what I tell myself. There we go. It does. It really does, you guys. All right, and then when you're done with that, you want to end up at 3 o'clock, just like this. There we go. So we did 2 short, 1 long, I'm sorry, we did short, long, short side. So now we're putting on our final long side, and then we'll connect things together with our final corner. So we need to put on 5 of our regular units. I'm going clockwise now, so I'm picking up 1 of my main colors, then 2 of my accent colors, and 1 of my main colors. I'm going to go through 9 o'clock on the opposite side to create that circle, just like that. Ta-da! And then go ahead, reinforce. Once you've reinforced, make sure you're coming out of 3 o'clock, and then put on 4 more units. Meet me back here, and we'll do the final corner together. And the final corner is going to be a little different than our first 3 corners, okay? All right, see you back here. All right, so now we have 4 sides. We got our short side, long side, short side, and long side. And we have 3 corners. So all we have to do is put on our 4th corner. The thing is we have on the 4th corner, and I'm just going to turn this around. There we go. So on our 4th corner, we have our 9 o'clock here. We're missing our 6 o'clock, which is the inside. And then we have the 3 o'clock over here. And then we're missing our 12 o'clock, which is the bicone. So what we're going to do is we're going, the direction of our thread is that we're going counterclockwise. So that means I'm coming out of 9 down here at the bottom towards the inside. So I pick up 111 Demi. Then I go through the other side here, and there we go. I just gotta hold this differently to do this. Whoops. There we go. Make sure my tail doesn't get in the way. So now I'm coming out of 3 o'clock, so I pick up my bicone, and then I go back through 9 o'clock in the opposite direction. There we go, just like this, and it just pulls together. Then I go ahead and reinforce. Now, once I'm done reinforcing, I want to be coming out of 3 o'clock. And I want to be coming out in a direction where I'm facing towards the bicone. I'm not going through the bicone after my reinforcement, but facing towards the bicone, the thread is. So for me, that's 3 o'clock. For you, it might be different depending on how you started off. There we go. So now I'm ready to go through here. 3 o'clock. And as you can see, my needle is facing towards the bicone. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to move my tail out of the way here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver myself towards this 12 o'clock over here of this unit. I want to be coming out of that unit. There we go. I'm just making sure my tail did not get in the way. There we go. So now we have the top half of the right angle units that will capture our stone. So we're going to now create the bottom half. This, whoops. There we go. This little section going across here. Okay? And so to do that, we're going to create right angle weaves still, but they're going to be slightly different than what we were doing before. Plus, we already have some of our beads because they're going to be connected to the previous right angle weaves of our frame. So I'm coming out of, so this 12 o'clock of this unit will now be my 6 o'clock of my new unit that I'm creating. And I am going in counterclockwise motion. So I'm coming out of 6 o'clock. I'm going to pick up 3 o'clock, which is going to be one accent color. Then I'm going to pick up a 12 o'clock, which is a main color. And then I'm going to pick up an accent color. And these are all my 11 Delicas. And then I'm going to go back through that 6 o'clock over here. And then I'm gonna go through that 6 o'clock set. As you notice, and I don't think I mentioned this, I just went ahead and started reinforcing. And then just like everything else, I'm gonna make sure I wind up at 3 o'clock here. There we go. Now you can start standing this up and holding it up. It'll be more important as we come to that first corner and as we continue. Right now, it doesn't matter as much, but it doesn't hurt to just get in that habit. So I am, just so you guys can see a little bit, so I'm coming out of 3 o'clock here, and I'm missing my 12 o'clock, my 3 o'clock, but I have my 6 o'clock here, and then of course my 3 o'clock, and I'm going clockwise this time. So you follow your thread. So I'm coming out of 3 o'clock. I'm about to, my thread is going the direction where 12 o'clock would be next. So that's one of my main colors. And then I pick up an accent color for 3 o'clock. I have my bead down below for 6 o'clock right here. There we go. And then I go back up through 9 o'clock. Just like that. Alright, so then you just go ahead and reinforce. Making sure your thread doesn't get caught on anything. There we go. And then once you've reinforced, make sure you wind up back at 3 o'clock to do your next unit. Alright, so you have one more unit on this side because it's the short side. Go ahead and do that. Then we'll do the corner together. Okay, so do one more unit. And here you have your 9 o'clock and your 6 o'clock, and you're going counterclockwise. So the next, so you would go down to 6 o'clock, you would go down to 6 o'clock, then you would pick up 3 o'clock, pick up 12 o'clock, and then go through 9 o'clock, reinforce, meet me back here, and we'll do that corner. Alright, so now we're at a corner, and the bicone is our 6 o'clock, and our accent color over here is our 9 o'clock for this new unit we're about to create. So we're just missing 2 units, the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock, and we are going in a clockwise motion. So the corners are going to be slightly different. And so wherever you have a bicone, we're going to just have, with the exception of the bicone, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 3 o'clock are all going to be our accent colors. So I picked up 2 accent colors. I'm going to go through my bicone. Then I'm going to go up through my 9 o'clock. And then I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to maneuver ourselves, now that we reinforced everything, to 3 o'clock. Take assessment and see how we're doing. So now we're ready to do the our second side over here. And it looks like we have 9 o'clock. It doesn't look quite like it, but we're coming out of 9 o'clock here. We have our 6 o'clock down below, which is our main color 11 Delica, and we are going counterclockwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and maneuver my way to 6 o'clock since the bead is there and I don't need to add, and that's the direction my thread is going. But I am missing 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock, so it's going back to what we were doing on the short side. So 3 o'clock is our accent color, and 12 o'clock is our main color. Then I just go back through 9 o'clock, and this will help raise the wall to help create that frame that we need. Now this is where it's a little bit tricky, is that you got to go through 12 o'clock. So you can maneuver it so that your thread is on the outside if it makes it easier for you. So what I'm going to do it so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go through and just reinforce everything. So I'm going through 6 o'clock, and I'm going through 3 o'clock again. Then 12 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock. As I stab myself with the needle. That's life. And then back through 6 o'clock. Now I want to wind up at 3 o'clock for the next unit. Alright, so then you just continue on with your long side. And you can even see how many units you have by just counting these over here, your main colors here. So you just put on 1, and the long side has 5 units. Let's just confirm here. We got, this would be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th unit. And then we have the corner again. So go ahead, do your next 4 units. Make sure you reinforce. And then meet me back here, and we'll do that corner, your second corner together, and go from there.